Oh, hello. I recognize your name. Peter right now, so sorry. Well, that was her singing. That was her pretending to be Joe Howard, yes.
No, stand up. Rafael, it's the church. Okay.
Ja sai?
Ja, tof. Fece material. Nu, asta ar trebui să fie împrumutat într-o zi
După ce o citesc?
cu probabil.
Stelian.
Nu e orice carte. Cine?
Trebuie să meargă, doar are...
Oui. Look, there are two styles for people who are moderator like me for the entire Congress. There are some people who talk very much about the invited speakers. They think that they make pleasure to them. They don't make pleasure to them because they take time for their talk. I have a different style because you have booklets. In the booklets, there are all presentations of the invited speakers. So, I make very short presentations for the speakers. It's nonsense to spend time for that because they have a lot of things to say. Second point is that you know that our Congress is dedicated to two outstanding contemporary personalities, one from America, which is Raymond, one from Romania, which is Ioan Aurel Pop. Raymond is a famous professor and famous businessman and famous man for humanitarian action. He is trans by definition, I would say, inside. I must say about Ray also, sorry for other people from the Atlas, but he is from Atlas, the man who understood the best what I mean by the hidden circle. And for me it was a huge pleasure that we met on this ground. I must add that he is also deeply involved in the spiritual search. Please. There is a point, but there must be a point where is the point.
Well, thank you, Oscar, and what a great morning session from the inspiration of Basra's talk about being transdisciplinary to all gifts, interpretation, and how to tackle that. And Linda's question about the whole thing. My colleague Bob's quick, precise presentation, and of course, Attila's group or Attila's gang, or how benefit they from the transdisciplinary education phenomenon. I don't have much to add, but as an old man, I met a lot of wonderful people, so I have some stories to tell. Hopefully, these stories will sort of help to explain a little bit of the high-level thinkers are talking about this morning. To me, being transdisciplinary is basically making meaningful connections. All right, and my friend Bob have taught me the art of making meaningful connections. So I use that title. Oops. I'd like to just talk a little bit as a young man. I was a young professor, and in '79 I was invited by Fujitsu to be an honorary fellow at their research institute. Since I was the only non-Japanese fellow, so I got to meet a lot of Japanese people. And two very interesting people I met are both last name Kobayashi. I'm trying to remember which is. Oh. This is the point. Taiyo Kobayashi was chairman of Fujitsu. And Kanji Kobayashi was chairman of NEC. These two people are very different. If Taiyo walks into a supermarket, you will never know he is the chairman of a big company. Kanji is only 5'2". When he walks into any room, he just take a glance of everybody, he took over the room. All right? And I happened to have a chance to meet both of them. So one day I was sitting with Taiyo Kobayashi. I said, Taiyo. No, I said, Mr. Kobayashi, of course. In Japan, if you call him by first name, you're out. I said, what's your secret of success? And she said, well, Ray, and I tell you, here's my secret. Every morning, I get up at 5. I went to my bonsai garden, spending an hour taking care of bonsai. So my mind comes down. Then I take a shower, have breakfast, and my car took me there. I try to maintain that calmness. Doesn't matter what comes, I deal with it at that level. Kanji, on the other hand, I had lunch with him one day. I said, Mr. Kobayashi, what is the biggest decision you made when you took over as the president? He said, right? NEC stands for Nippon Electric Company, which the energy business accounts for 50% or more of my company. That's quite a name. When I took over as president, I chopped it off. It's easy to say, how difficult it is for him to chop half. Well, he didn't chop it off, he just phased it out. All right. Instead, in 1970, he created a new vision for NEC, CNC, Computer and Communication, and become the biggest such company in 30 years' time. And then I find out, I said, what? Then I found out all the Japanese executives read two books, two Bibles. One is Musashi Miyamoto's The Book of Five Rings. Here's Musashi. the most celebrated, famous samurai in Japan's history. The Japanese samurais have two swords. Long sword for the longer range fight, and short sword for close combat. Musashi used both. That's the innovation, all right? And he learned all the swordsmanship from everybody else. So he's transdisciplinary in terms of swordsmanship. When he was 29 years old, he doesn't use sword anymore. He just uses a wooden stick. He still wins. And then I found out about Musashi. He was locked up by a monk when he was 17 because he was very naughty. But the monk likes him. So he locked him up for 3 years to give him 2 books. One is Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which also every Japanese executive read then. The other is Buddha's The Diamond Sutra. That's why Musashi's book, he has 5 chapters. The last chapter is emptiness, or you may call the hidden third. All right. Well, anyway, that's my initiation into all this transdisciplinary stuff. I like to look at transdisciplinary from 3 perspectives, sort of following the teaching of our good friend Basra. All right. Perhaps a little slightly different, but it's pretty much following your script. One is the historical level. All right. 3 historical perspective. And basically, that's traditionally what you mean by transdisciplinarity, the unity of knowledge, system thinking, design thinking, organization learning, all is such kind of effort. All right. But I like to give you, but when they do that, they make meaningful connections between disciplines. Mostly you use abstraction, the abstract one level up, so you can talk to the different disciplines. I give you some example of such. This is a classical example of meaningful connections that Bob usually makes. By the way, Bob has 150 international patents, all right, in his life. This is the famous fighting in China. 2 armies fighting across the river. And one day, I guess the front commander come to report to the commander-in-chief. Bad news. What's the bad news? We run out of arrows. It means you have guns but no bullet, right? So what about supply line? Well, it's about 2 months delay. Who has the arrow? Well, our friend across the river. So the general scratches his head. Well, let's try to get some arrow from them. So here's the meaningful connection. It turns out it's during the winter, right? The weather is foggy every morning. That's good news. Then he said, well, what if we sell our boat to the enemy? What are they going to shoot? Good news. So next morning, he has a lot of straw soldiers put on their uniform, soldier's uniform, sailing across and come back with all the arrows they need. That's a meaningful connection, Bob. A modern version is Southwest Airlines. When they started, they want to be cheap. They want to have great service. Well, how can you be cheap? So they look at an airline, all right? This is the airline. The price and whether they have lunch and seat assignment and speed and all that. Well, this is how the airline. I can't go into detail. But Southwest, but then they said, we want cheap. We want all the bus customer of a bus company fly too. So if they look at a bus. And the key difference is that the airline you fly all into a hub, then you fly out. The bus go from point to point. So Southwest Airlines changed the whole paradigm. The first airline goes just point to point, and so forth. And bus is quick too, right? So this is how they make meaningful connection. This is on the historical level. Now there's another level. Oh. The sort of spiritual level, or I would say deep ecology level, all right, which is the unity of being, or connected. We're all connected. We're all interbeing, so to speak, all right. And so, yeah, when you talk about, like Paul talk about it, is that you talk about transcendence, all right? When you do in the historical level, you talk about transformation. But in this level, the vertical level, you talk about transcendence, all right? And so in this transcendence, eventually, you go to a level where the hidden theory comes in, where subject, object, death, and life totally disappear, all right? I'd like to give you the story of my friend Edgar Mitchell, who just passed away a couple of years ago. He was the sixth man to walk on the moon. He is a professional physicist. When he came back from the moon, as the capsule circled around the Earth, suddenly he had this enlightenment. He's one with everything. From that, you look down back in the Earth, there's no boundary, there's no division, all right? We created separation. So with that, he got curious, so he founded the Institute of Noetic Sciences 45 years ago to study the relationship between consciousness and science, because he was not able to explain his phenomenon he experienced in the science. But he found it in the spiritual script, the notion of samadhi. All right? So he wanted to combine both. And of course, 45 years later, everybody is looking into consciousness, from neuroscience to physicists, biologists, and everybody. And this is just a short list. All right, I won't go into detail because otherwise, Basel will scold at me. All right, but huge field of study now in the notion of consciousness. But I like to also give you the another example. I try to illustrate each point with two examples. Oh, each time I forgot. Here comes our Basra's famous quote, right? Echoes from all levels of reality comes the hidden third. If you have to read his book, The Hidden Third. It's so poetic, but of course, it's different because it's theoretical poems. All right, but it's beautiful. I'd like to talk to Southwest Airlines again. Try to use one example to illustrate all the point. And when Southwest Airlines started, they had one goal: to free the sky so everybody can fly. It's easy to talk about it, all right? But for example, on the price level, they are able to look at the ground transportation and mimic them and really get the price down, all right? But this is it. You can think of all many of the great leaders like Gandhi and others. They all have this high level of consciousness about what they should do for the world, all right? And that comes to, I won't go into the detail again, but Herb is a phenomenal guy. The first time I met him, I had a 1 hour appointment after we talked for 4 hours, I looked at my watch and I said, Herb, I need to catch a flight back to Austin. So he said, oh, no problem. I take you to the airport. So as chairman of the huge company, right? And he want me there. Everybody he met along the road, he can call everybody in the headquarters by first name. And when we get to the airport, he looked at the watch, he said, Ray, we still got 10 minutes. Let me tell you about my hobby on astrophysics, right? This is the kind of guy, I mean, transdisciplinary, right? All right. The third perspective is the actionable. It's the unity of actions that inspired us by the transcendence to transformation. Transcendence inspired transformation. All right. And basically, it's a reformulation of, how do we deal with the world, all right? But in my point, more specifically, if you don't have this transcendence, you are going to be dealing with the problem in the same level of consciousness. Like Einstein said, you can't solve it. You have to transcend. And this is an example, I don't know how many people have known this William McDonald and his partner, Michael Bronte. One is architect, the other is a chemist. And what they want to do is think about design, the question of design. How do you design? So they ask the question, if you think about the design with all children, all species, all the time in mind, you have a different kind of design. Because with that in mind, you have to transcend. You don't have choice. So I can't go into detail, which means that what they do is the building they designed. By the way, he designed 14 cities in China based on this philosophy, cradle to cradle, not cradle to grave. Cradle to cradle means that everything they design is reusable. All the rainwater and dirty, all recycled. All right, so biological waste become biological neutral. Technical waste become technical neutral. Right? And in this sense, the traditional way of thinking of design, or form follows function, based on their thinking is form follows evolution. So it's sort of a house should be like a tree, because it grows to continue to nourish all its surroundings, bring the birds in and all that. All right. Sorry, no. Want to talk about Southwest Airlines again. This is a picture I had with her in their headquarters. The headquarters has no art of any kind. It's only in the background the family albums of employees. That's all. They come up with the concept of whole person. Everybody in Southwest Airlines is whole person, not 1/3 because you are here 8 hours. I only look you in 8 hours. What does whole person mean? If you, as a member of the Southwest Airlines family, you have a problem in your family, it's Southwest Airlines problem. So if your family have serious illness, rather they come visit for free with the airline ticket. All right. So this is the concept. As a consequence, what he did was he developed a organizational consciousness, all right, which perpetuate the whole organization, and the whole organization change accordingly. All right. but I won't go into detail. So I want to conclude a little bit the Herb Caliber and Southwest Airlines story. Herb, as I said, is always at ease. I talked, from 1 hour to 4 hours. You think he's chairman of the company, has nothing to do, right? But that's him, all right? And as a consequence, Southwest Airlines, 3 minutes. Oh, time goes so fast, all right? And so this is the sort of the tipping point that caused the company to jump forward. All right. So I'm so lucky I met a lot of people, political leaders, business leaders in my life. So I try to summarize the quality of their leadership, what I call transdisciplinary leadership. Basically, in the middle of this tranquility, like Taiyo Kobayashi, like Musashi. Sometimes when he in a fight, he was surrounded by 10 or 12 people all around him. He's in the middle. If you're not calm, you're gone. Then there is clarity. Right? You have to respect and energy. And that this tranquility is the ability to be at ease with oneself and not to be influenced by the external environment, where that's transcendent. The other three is the ability to transform your external environment based on your transcendence. But I won't go into detail. I have to jump quickly. Oh, sorry. All right, I want to quickly go over a couple minutes time, I said. Maybe 5. Maybe 2, okay. We're bargaining. So 2 plus 5, 3.5. Right? I want to tell you a story of high school. This is a vocational high school that my dad created when he was a general. It's in a city where, it's near the China-Burma border. Very cool. But when he created this vocational high school, the reason why he created because when he was young, he has no money to go to school. The only way for him to get out of poverty is to join the army. So during his army life, he created 3 schools, but this is one, all right? My sister Lily and I visited in 2005. This is school. And he had listened when he created school. Everybody has opportunity for education. Everybody can have a job. Right? That's the vision. When we visit school, it's very, it's a county level school. In China, it would be next level city, the province. All right, very cool. And the teacher had to go out to the village to grant 5 students every summer. That's their quota, all right? Otherwise, they won't have to school. So the key is that the self-esteem of the people of the student very, very low. When we go there, the schools, the principal said, "Wow, great, you're general, yes, children. How about donate a building in the county?" Of course, they don't have a building. But to our mind, raising students' self-esteem is much more important. And of course, we observe their airports come out open. It's a beautiful place. Tourists can take off and all that. So we decided we're going to create a facility by creating an innovation award using my father's name. And at that time, China just began to even think about it at the highest level, at the Academy of Sciences level. Begin to think about it. And but in 6 years, by the time the 6th award, they have vaulted themselves from nobody knows them to top 500 among more than 20,000 vocational high schools in China. So then, at that time, I was visiting the school. The principal said, "Professor, yeah, how do we get to the top 100? I said, "Don't even think about it. You're trying to, build a strategy. If you attack directly, you have to use 5 soldiers to exchange for 1. So just forget about it." However, I said, since school had gone this far, you might want to think using a flanking strategy. How about go directly apply for vocational college? Just bypass all your competition, all right? So that's what, and we want to make sure that the next phase, making leadership a key characteristic for your student. So that's what we did. And very quickly, this, oops. I guess they didn't put it right. Well, this is the result, right? So we suggest that we did a training for all their more than 250 teachers, and then we have foreign 2012, and then we got authority from the central government that they got vocational college. But 10 years later, 2015. They are ranked in the top 100, 4 years later. And I just heard a couple months ago, they are now among the 19 vocational college in a special category now, I have no idea. But in any event, that is the sort of story from a transdisciplinary approach to problem solving. But you must have transcendence-based transformation, because you cannot solve the problem in the same level of consciousness. So I want to make an acknowledgement of this is the school also created a statue for him. And in fact, every year, the day when the Chinese worship, remember their ancestors, the entire school, several hundred teachers and 8,000 students all go there to bow to him. So now, it's 2 generations that complete my father's vision 70 years ago. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge my dear friend Bob Block, who will celebrate his 90th birthday tomorrow. And I'm indebted to him for the many ideas he has given to me, especially do the right thing, do things right, change before it's necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I must say that dearly, I am very, very moved by your talk, because you bring the central thing in our Congress, spirituality, to make us understand in a very simple way. Spirituality is not a complicated story. It's not a thing to maybe discuss. Very complicated intellectual things. You show examples, presence in the real moment. And I'm really very indebted for this beautiful talk. Thank you. So now we go to a short session, but very important session, being transdisciplinary mass media popularization of science. I invite Michael Stravinsky to lead this.
Thank you, Professor Nicolescu, for inviting me to lead this short session, as you told. I'm here first, so my name is Marta Stavisky, I'm here. First, I'm the president of the Institute for Transdisciplinary Studies in Science Society, and I invite you to visit from time to time our website. I'm a member of CIRET, but I'm also astronomer, and as astronomer I know how to face the large public from the childhood until old age. And there are a lot of problems, especially I consider astronomy as a very transdisciplinary science, and it's covered all the universe. And we have to invite two persons. First of one is Raphael One, we say, from France, who is talking about transdisciplinary library. I offer you only 11 minutes. After that, you have a dip. After the second drink, stop. Other people. So, start.
I hope. Right. Thank you very much, Magdalena. And first, I wanted to thank you, dear Babes-Bolyai, for the invitation. I'm very glad to be here with you in Cluj. And excuse me because the English is not. I don't speak very well English, so I will read the text that I prepared. This presentation is an article orally translated from the CIRET website. I'm a member of CIRET, whose name is La Bibliothèque Transdisciplinaire, un gai savant en action, that I wrote in February of this year. Well, first of all, I wanted to make a junction that seemed natural to me between two words that had never before communicated, and for me there are a lot of links. That of libraries, I'm curator of library in France, in Amiens, and that of transdisciplinary research, and intend to prove why society have a lot of interest of them interaction. But why are there natural affinities between libraries and transdisciplinarity? First question. There are many occurrences in literature between libraries lovers